Hey guys, so just Tim here again, talking about how you start backpacking. And remember what I said before, I think one of the best ways that you can start backpacking is by going on day hikes. And so I thought this video would be a good help for those of you who are just getting started and wondering, okay, now I know to go on day hikes, but what do I bring on day hikes? And so that's who this video is for, and what I'll be talking about is what I bring on my day hikes and what I think is a good overall kind of kit or loadout. So here we go. So first of all, a backpack. Now I think it's a good idea to get a good quality backpack, but I don't think you have to break the bank at all in order to do that. This is a backpack I've had for quite a while. It's a Camelback, and I actually don't even know the model number. It's just something that or model name. It's something I just toss in my back, and I've had it for such a long time. And you don't need a really expensive backpack to get started, and that's one reason why I wanted to show you this, is that not all the gear I have is brand name or something that it's not accessible. You should be able to go to Walmart and get a pretty good day pack. It's not the best, of course, but it's something that would work for our needs, just for going on a day hike. So here's a Camelback. First of all, you start with a good backpack, something that fits you well and is fairly comfortable. And the only way to do that is just try it on, try it out for a little while. So let's start from the outside, what I have hanging right here. And those of you guys who follow my channel will laugh, of course, because this is what I'm going to start with. But it is my camping trowel, or my trowel for digging cat holes. I just make sure I bring this just in case I need to go while I'm on the trail and a bathroom is not accessible, then I have this available. Next up in here, and some of these are things I carry on my person and not necessarily keep in my backpack, and that is just a regular pocket knife. And I'll have this Kershaw Canyon Onion design in my pocket usually. Headlamp. Make sure you have that. The big thing about day hikes is that sometimes they can turn into night hikes. I've known several people who have been on the trail. Sometimes the distance takes you a lot longer than you think it will, and it turns into a night hike. And I hope you have a headlamp because it's a lot easier than holding a flashlight. A way to start fire, and I use a Bic lighter. That's my number one kind of go-to, just because it's so easy, and usually it's always in my pocket. A first aid kit. You can either purchase this yourself, or this is one that I made it of my own. You see I have some extra batteries in there as well. But just basic supplies specifically for basic first aid, but also blister cure is pretty important, because your feet are one of the most important things that you'll have on your hike, because you'll be on them pretty much all day, and you want to make sure you take care of that. So a basic first aid kit per each person in your hiking party. Going along with the first item, you want some toilet paper. Toilet paper or wipes, biodegradable at least. So that way, in case you do need to go off trail, that you'll have that available for you. Next, I'm pretty old school, so even if you are staying on a pretty popular trail, you want to make sure you have a compass and a map, and you know how to use them. At least basic navigation and recognize which direction you're going. I think that's definitely where I'd start. And this is just me. I have a backup way to make fire just in case, and this is a Ferro rod. Just something that's pretty handy. You use the back of a 90-degree, the spine of your knife if it's a 90-degree angle, and you can create some sparks and you can make fire if you need to. Let's see, what else do I have in here? Here we go. Just a hat, protection from the sun. I usually like to try something that's pretty wide brimmed, just because I find that a baseball cap or just something that has a smaller brim doesn't quite give me enough coverage for protection from the sun. And so this is really handy, especially on those really hot summer days. Okay, this is a product I use a lot. It's called Sunsect, and it's a combination sunscreen and bug repellent. And I just kind of got into this, and I'll leave the link down below. I got into this because I got tired of carrying both sunscreen and bug repellent and bug spray, and this works really well. It is a deep-based lotion or a deep-based product, which I think is really effective at keeping bugs away. You'll find another thing that's really effective, that's a natural option for keeping bugs away, is lemon eucalyptus, and that works fairly well, but not, it needs more applications than a deep-based product. Sunglasses, that kind of goes into this whole theme of protecting yourself from the sun. Pact Towel, it's actually really handy to have a Pact Towel on the trail. You never know when you need to sop something up. You never know when you need to rinse yourself off in a creek or a river of some kind, and that's where the Pact Towel really comes in handy. A head net. This is just in case the bugs get really bad, and you have to put this over your head just to stop yourself, especially from things like not only mosquitoes, but you have to consider black flies or deer flies, and that they can get really annoying, and those things do hurt, and so that's where a bug head net comes in handy for you on a day trip. Maybe a bit of overkill, but I like carrying a Leatherman type tool. This one I think is a Stanley brand, but just something that has pliers, it has lots of different tools on there. It's a little heavy and a little hefty to bring on a day hike, but something I just like to toss in the pack. You know, when I go on a day hike, I'm not necessarily caring about it being an ultra light pack at that point. I just go to enjoy the day, and it's nice to have a little bit of a backup. Something that might be different, and you don't see in very many packs, but I like carrying this Tyvek 1443R. Basically all it is a waterproof type sheeting. I carry this just because I like to have it as an option if I need an emergency shelter. It's, like I said before, it's kind of waterproof, not as good as typical Tyvek, but it's a lot lighter than typical Tyvek, and it works really well for me. I use it as a ground sheet to sit on when I'm out day hiking, and it works really well for that purpose. Let's see, get this in there. Once again, on day hikes I tend to bring more redundancies, and just a little flashlight. I brought the headlamp and the extra batteries, but I do like bringing a flashlight just in case. And now for the main portion compartment of the pack. A big one that some people forget is an extra pair of socks. I use Right socks. It's W-R-I-G-H-T. I'll put a link in the description below. But these are really my go-to hiking socks, especially in the summer or the warmer months. I use this pretty three-season. I can carry it all the way to fall and to spring as well. But an extra pair of socks, just in case your other pair of socks gets wet, gets damaged, something happens, so you have to change out. I really can't emphasize enough. You really want to make sure that your feet stay protected. And one way you do that is extra pair of socks. These dry really quickly and they work really well. Of course, you bring food. Depending on the length of your hike, I always carry at least 1 or 2 meals, just in case you're out there longer than you think you will be. High energy is what I say. You usually want to maintain what I call a constant calorie drip all day long. If you're making sure that you have foods that are high in fat, you make sure you have some protein-based food as well as some sugar, you're pretty set for the day. And those things work really well for me. See my go-to in here right away. Peanut butter is a big one, and granola bars, or trail mix bars. Yep, trail mix bars. My next one is a form of water purification. In this case, I use the Sawyer Squeeze, and this is a Sawyer Squeeze bag. And what it is basically, it allows me to filter my water. Oops. Allows me to filter my water. People also use Aquamira drops. That's also really effective and a lot lighter. But even if you have potable water on the trail, I really recommend bringing some form of water purification on a day hike. It's another just in case thing, but you never know when specific reliable streams of water are going to be dried up, depending on drought, or not usable. Since we're talking about water, I carry these 1 liter smart water bottles. One big thing about these smart water bottles is they allow you to, the threads are compatible with the Sawyer Squeeze, and so it works really well for that purpose. Also, because they're thinner and taller, they tend to work really well at fitting into your pack, better than most of those other Aquafina or other water bottles. A big thing to consider as well is know exactly how much water your body needs, especially in a rigorous hike. A typical person, I always say, a good rule of thumb is about 3 liters of water per day. And that doesn't include rigorous hiking or any sort of exertion at all. And so I like to carry on a day hike at least 2 liters of water and some form of water purification. And I always like to look ahead to make sure I know where water sources are on the trail and how reliable they are. So water is a big one. This one is just for me. I talked about using that Tyvek 1443 as a ground sheet, and that works really well. What works even better is this Therm-A-Rest Z Seat. It's a kind of a foam, Therm-A-Rest Z Seat. It's kind of this foam pad. It just makes it really nice when you're stopping for a break or something on the trail that you can just lay this out and sit on it. You sit on a rock, you can sit on whatever, and it works really well. It feels really good. That's just a me thing. Another me thing, I bring just a gear sling made out of this kind of Dyneema sort of cord and an S-beaner on the end. Basically what it is, it allows me to loop this around a tree, pull the beaner through. I'll show you how to make this in a different video. This is from one of my friends, Josh. And you hook your pack to the tree so you don't have to have it on the ground. Pretty handy. You guys have all seen this before, but this is the Outdoor Research rain jacket, and I would always bring a rain jacket when you're going on a day hike. You never know how the weather is going to end up turning on you, and it also works for protecting you from the wind or the elements just in general. So a good rain jacket is pretty important. And like I said, we're talking more about 3-season, and so this is a down vest, and so I like to bring just a little extra warmth. Of course, I won't bring this in the dead of summer around here. Maybe if I was in the Sierras or somewhere where I knew it could get cold higher up, I would bring it. But around here, I usually don't bring a down vest or a jacket with me on my hikes because I know the temperature is not going to go beyond a certain range unless the apocalypse is happening. But usually on 3-season hikes, especially in the fall, I'll bring something like this. Let's see. One of my new favorite pieces of gear is the Humangear Duo. And so this works really well for as a spork type of tool, eating device, and it works really well. One thing I like about this is that not only can it go longer like this and reach into those freeze-dried bags like the Mountain House meals, but it also has a much smaller footprint. That's probably my favorite part about it, is that it doesn't take up a whole lot of room in your pack when you put it like this. So there's that. And looks like there's some money in there. But my pack is empty. That's it. So like you guys know, I'm sure you know by now, I'm making some assumptions when I talk about packing for my day pack. I'm looking specifically at my area in Northwest Ohio, and I'm looking only at 3-season, and assuming that you're going to stay to a popular day hiking sort of trail and not something that's completely off the beaten path or bushwhacking of any kind. We're talking about popular day hiking trails. And so hopefully this was helpful to you. If it was, go ahead and like the video, comment down below, let me know if I missed anything or if there's anything that you bring on your day hikes that you think I should have considered. And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet. That's one way of making sure you keep up with the series and the channel and any new videos that I put out. And hopefully, like I always say, it was really helpful to you and you found some value in it. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.